Good morning, people. So, here at my dad's house in New York, and I'm here for a week visiting my dad and my brother and his family, and I thought I'd do some projects while I'm here since I have access to Dad's garage, and it's just, it's easy to do projects while I'm here. I'm gonna build my closets, or attempt to build my closets. I bought a couple pieces of half-inch finished birch plywood yesterday, so they're in the garage, and I thought I'd take you along on how I make this happen and put together my closets. Alright, so I'm in here in Dad's garage. Here's my plywood for the closets. I got the handy dandy tape measure and the handy dandy notebook and the handy dandy pencil. The first thing I need to do is go get the measurements for around the wheel well. So I'll take you inside the coach and show you that. So this is the space I'm going to be working in today. This is my bedroom. I'm sure you've seen it on other videos. My bed frame, and down here there's going to be storage, like permanent storage eventually, but this is the closet space. So here will be a closet on this side of the bed, on the foot side of the bed, and on the head side of the bed. Today I'm going to be measuring this curve for the wall. You can see on this side, this wall to the bathroom has a curve, and it goes around the wheel well. So it's kind of complicated because there's a curve here that goes up the wall of the motorhome, but there's also this curve up here at the top of the ceiling. I have to be honest with you, something that makes me crazy. I'm going to flip the camera around. I've got this space all cleaned up, right? Ready for a project. Back here, I put all my stuff away. But the trouble with living in a construction zone is that 15 minutes earlier, this space was completely clean. And now it looks like a bomb went off. Also, being very honest right now, this is ridiculous. My barber is out of town and I need a haircut, like desperately. I'm going to measure the height of this wheel well, then the depth, and that's going to help me figure out the placement of this wall so I can start the curve. It's kind of hard to see. But it curves out pretty well. I think 2 or 3 inches at the deepest part. So once I get this wheel well measured out, then I kind of have a square place to start, and I know where to start the curve. I have 21 inches tall. The wheel well is 21 inches tall. And then to the wall, we have 15 5/8. If you're building a tiny home on wheels or working on something that is a moving vehicle, and I almost think maybe most homes of some sort, what you're going to realize is that things aren't square. You want them to be square, you do your best to make them square, but they're not necessarily square. So I'm trying to find the distance I need to come in to cut my wheel well, and I'm realizing that between this top measurement, which is 15 3/4, and this bottom measurement, which is 15 and 15/16 is not, they're not the same. I have two options. I can use the longer number, the 15 and 15/16, and cut it at that length and then trim it to fit this number, or I can cut two separate lengths and connect the dots. Sometimes I do that option too, but honestly I think in this situation I'm going to cut them both at this longer number, and actually I think I should cut them at the short. Well, hold on, I need to think about this. So I decided that I'm going to use the longer number. This bottom distance is longer than this top distance. So if I cut this line for the wheel well at the longer distance, it'll probably be too tight up here. It'll probably be too tight, and I'll have to have to come in and trim it. But I'd rather trim it than there be a gap. So I think that's the plan. Okay, let's see if you guys can follow me with my really great artistic skills. I have tons more skills than this, so this is literally chicken scratch. But so this is our wall, our wheel well. I'm going to make the cut here at 15/7/8, and then I'm going to also make this cut 15 7/8, knowing that I'll probably have to trim it back to 15 5/8. And then this will be 15 5/8. Okay, I confused myself. This number actually doesn't matter. I'm going to come up here and cut this out. And then I'm going to go all the way across the rest of the sheet of plywood. And this will naturally fit up against the wall. This number is only going to come in play when I get ready to make this curve. That's where this number is going to come in play. But this section of the wheel well will already have been cut. So this number right now doesn't matter. This is the top, the curve that's coming around, and then eventually I believe I'm going to cut a hole here for a cubby. That's down the road after I fit both sides of these walls and put them in and see what I think about it. One thing I've learned that's really important over the years is that you need to measure more than once. When you're going to make a cut on something, measure 2, 3 times, more if it makes you feel better, but definitely twice. I sometimes, with things like this, I'll probably measure it 3. I've measured it twice. I'm going to put it on the wood, and then I'll probably go back and measure it again before I make the cut, because wood is expensive, and I just paid $55 a sheet for this, so this project has already cost me over $100. I don't want to screw it up. Man, look how beautiful it is outside today. It's a gorgeous fall day. So another tool that's super important in this job and in building your own home, which if you're already working on your own home you probably know, is a square. This is a large square, and it's going to come in handy for cutting around that wheel well. This is a speed square. It's another super handy tool. I like this for small spaces. It helps you get right into a corner of something. It also has this lip along here that holds against a board and makes it really easy to make sure you have a tight fit and an accurate measurement. Has the price of wood gone up substantially in the last couple years. The quality's also gone down. I don't know if you can see this, but these were the best boards that they had at Home Depot. They only had about 6 pieces of this finished grade birch plywood, and all of them had, it looks to be water damage along the bottom of the boards. And there's and here's a big gap, like there's no board in there. So unfortunately you pay more and the quality has gone to shit. So I decided I don't need this entire board to make the wall, so I'm going to start down at the other end. Doesn't appear to have as much damage down there. So I just put the square on. I measured both my numbers for the wheel well, and the wheel well length is 21, so I'm just going to come through here and make a line. And that will be the outside of the wheel well. The section I'm going to cut out for the wheel well. And then the curve will come from this side up, and that'll be the ceiling. It'll go up this way and then across the ceiling. Okay, now here comes the fun part. You might be wondering, how the hell do you cut this curve? It's not easy. And it took me a long time to figure out the first couple ones. So I found a great video by Bussy McBusface on YouTube, and they Mike of Bussy McBusface, he's got a great system about how you use a board that goes horizontally, marked at 1-inch increments, with another board that goes straight up, and you use that to measure. So each 1 inch, you go up with the tape measure and you get the height of the curve, or the curve, it also works this way. And you take it each inch increment, and then you essentially just connect the dots all along the whole curve. It worked great. It was very accurate. Up here, I wasn't really impressed. This was my error though, and luckily that's gonna have some molding up here eventually that'll cover that up. But other than that, like, it was really close. Like, I can't even get a finger in there. So his method worked really well. I'm going to try to speed it up a little this time, and use something different, but I'm not sure how it's going to work, so I think I'm actually going to use a combination of both Mike's method and this new tool. So we'll see how it works. I don't know. We'll find out. On Amazon, they're calling it the curve template. It has these knobs down here that turn, and then this moves to make the curve. And then when you get to the, you get this edge up along your curve, you lock it in with these knobs. I have not used this yet, so we're going to try it for the first time together. Hopefully it'll work great. In theory, it should cut down on a lot of measuring, but I think I'm going to use a combination of this and check my work as I go along by using Mike from Bussy McBusface's method with measuring in the 1-inch increments. I think I might measure, every few inches just to double check and make sure that this is actually working in my my curve is correct. Because the wood is so expensive, it's worth the extra time. Alright, so in theory, you loosen these knobs up so that this part will be flexible. Remember, we're learning this together, because I've never used this thing. And then they say put it up against the curve like this. I feel like I want to flip it this way so that I can get to the curves, the knobs easier. Yeah. So I have it up against the wall. I'm going to tighten this bottom one. And then I guess you just push it. You just push it up against the wall so it's flat. Turn the knobs as you come up. I don't know if I'm doing it right or not, but we'll find out. I need a couple more hands, people. Alright, so I'm going to tighten this one. So I think what I need to do, though, is mark where this curve is ending. Because I'll need to know this end point for the next part of the curve. I'm guessing that's how that works. Alright, so I'm just going to mark this right there. That's where the end of the last curve was. I'm not really sure about this. This is different. I guess we'll find out. I'm going to use the Bussy McBusface horizontal measurement theory he has as well to kind of double check, because I'm not 100% sure about this. One important thing I just realized is that you gotta remember which side is up. And something I noticed on here that there's a sticker, and so I put it back up against the wall to see how it fit and realize that the sticker is down. So yeah, I can see how that could quickly be a big giant screw up if you had it flipped around and the curve was going in the wrong direction. So there's a little tip. A problem I'm seeing already is that this line right here is the top of the wheel well, and I don't know how you figure out how this curve is square to the wheel well. Like, was it out here? It's not, but was it out here or here or here? How do I know which angle that curve actually goes on? I don't really know how to figure that out. You can see this, and I don't know if this is actually going to work, but I'm going to try. I put a vertical board up here to be able to represent the square side of the plywood to the ceiling. I squared it to the floor, which I know is about the only thing that's square in this whole coach. So I used a clamp to hold it square. Then I used my long square to be the horizontal measurement to where the mark that I made at the end of the curve. I'm going to use my tape measure to measure to the wall and find out the distance from the side of, this is the side of the plywood. I'm going to find out the distance to the side of the plywood to where the curve needs to end. And just as a reference, I'm also going to do it down here. So this is the side of the plywood, and I'm going to measure to where the wheel well starts and then to where the end of the curve should be. This should already be accurate on the plywood. The mark, this measurement should be accurate, but I'm going to double check using this board and then use the tape measure here to find out where the other end of that flexible curve needs to go. Unfortunately, this fast curve doesn't really seem to be working for what I need it to do. It's not so fast and it's causing bigger problems, so I guess I'm going back to the old school way. It's just a pain. It's a lot of measuring, but it's got to get done. So here we go. I'm going to take the tape measure and make an inch mark all the way down this board for a reference point, and then I'm going to use blue painter's tape on the wall with that same inch mark along the wall, and then use the tape measure horizontally to get the distance of the curve. Okay, this is what I'm doing. It's a tedious pain in the ass, but I have my marks, my 1-inch marks on the wood, and I'm taking a measurement at each 1-inch increment across the square with the tape measure to find out the length of the curve, and then just going all the way down. Alright, we're back in the garage. I took the board and clamped it to the piece of plywood. Pretty much recreated the setup with the square that I had in there, and then I lined this curve up with the edge of the square and to the top of the board at the ceiling, and then I'm just going to trace that, and in theory that should be the curve to the roof. Alright, here we go. Trial fit number 1. About to begin. Wish me luck, guys. This was not easy. Okay, so not far off. I'm not far off. Definitely need to come up. This fit pretty good. There's just a tiny little gap there, but there's going to be molding. This needs to be shaved down just a little so that this could slide back about 1/4 inch, less than a 1/2 inch, which should take, sliding it back should take up most of this gap here. We're pretty good. I think we're pretty close. So I'm going to go trim that corner, and I'll let you know how I make out. Here's trim number 2. We're even closer. I can't even fit a finger in there anymore in that gap. It did rocket up on this side, so I noticed here in the corner it needs to be shaved down right there just a little bit. And then up here it still needs to come down a little. That way this whole board will go that way. The top of this board will go towards the wall, and hopefully most of this gap right here should close up. So back to the jigsaw. Well, Okay then. I put that square there to show you that it's square. The board is square. And we did it. It's up in there. There's a little bit of gap at the top. Right here. I can stick my finger in there. But there's going to be molding up there. And there's just the tiniest, I can't even get my finger in there, tiniest little gap in the back. I call that successful. We did it. One side down, one more to go. Hello. Working on day 2 of the closet doors. Closet walls. Not the doors. We're not there yet. So, it's pretty much the same thing I did yesterday. I'm not going to film as much. I'm going to make it speedier. But if I see things that I'm doing differently, I'll show you. Here we go. Alright. I got the other piece measured out, and I'm going to start cutting it out with the jigsaw. This one didn't go the same. I more used that fast tracing tool than the first wall. I'm not so sure. I measured the 2 walls together because they're similar. They're not the same. The curves are not the same, and the height is just a little bit different. But they're pretty close, so I'm thinking I might be fine. But we'll find out. Okay, it's the moment of truth. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, you can see it. I'm hoping it'll fit like a glove. I'm throwing it out there to the universe. It's gonna fit like a glove. We will see in just a minute. Holy crap. Fits like a glove on the first shot. Little tiny gap right there, but man, perfect. That was awesome. Thank you, universe. This is exciting. We got closet walls, man. So I decided to give the Jackery a test today. I have the Jackery 1000. It appears that the jigsaw takes up over 600 watts. So, probably won't be able to use it very long, but this is a pretty quick job. I realized in order to put the wall in for the closet on the driver's side, I needed to cut out this shore power box. On the other side of this wall, the other side of the rectangle, is a hinged door, and that used to be where you had water access and shore power access. And so I've had it covered up just because I wasn't ready to do anything with it, and now I realized before I put this wall in, I really should actually cut it out. Okay, well, that job's done. Because of this bed frame corner down here, I couldn't really get the jigsaw in there very well, and apparently my pilot holes were not correct, and I took a chunk out here because the pilot hole said to go down further, but it's done. I need to make repairs later, but right now I need the closet wall, so here we go. I just wanted to tell you 2 more quick things before we get onto the wall. The Jackery ran like a champ with the jigsaw, and I think I used it for about 5 minutes, and it only went down 1%. So I really love the Jackery. It's probably one of my, you can see it's right there, one of my favorite things in the coach. If you don't have to use a jigsaw in your living space, don't do it. It's very dusty and dirty, makes huge cleanup. Unfortunately, I just had to get it done, but if you don't have to use a jigsaw, don't do it. Okay, so I'm back in the garage with one of the closet walls, and I decided on each end from the bedroom I wanted to have a little access, so that's what I'm cutting out right now. Cutting the corners with the jigsaw can be a little tricky. It just made a little screw up there, And then I remembered if you take a drill and you pre-drill the corners, it makes it easier to get in there and make the turn with the blade. Just thought I'd pass that along. Way cool. Now I have my little cubby for my bedroom cut out in the wall. I'm just going to be able to put like phone charger, my phone, and whatever else that I keep next to my bed in there without having to get up and put it in the closet or something. It'll be really cool. Okay, so I didn't take any video because I was just trying to cruise along and get this done before dark, but I just got the varthane out and sanded both sides of the closet walls and gave them a coat of varthane on one side. I'm going to try tomorrow to put another coat on. Hopefully the weather will hold out. Okay, so that's the end of this first part of the closet video. I had to come back to Michigan and wrap things up, so once I get my act together and decide to work on it some more, I'll do part 2. I'll talk to you all soon.